following program is classified G. It's suitable for all ages.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on Business Best tonight. This is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. So today on the show I have a lady with me who has come up with her own brand and her line of clothing, who has basically taught women to look into fashion in a different perspective and with the concept of celebrating women. With that said, I would like to invite Araliya Thevapalan, who is also the founder of the brand Araliya. Araliya, thank you very much for joining me on the show today and taking your time to sit with me and have this discussion. Alright, if I'm not mistaken, Araliya, you have been working in the public sector also, and you're still working in the public sector. So what made you want to make that shift into going into business?
First and foremost, Shonali, thank you so much for your kind introduction and for having me on your show. Yes, I've actually been working in the public sector, both in government and politics, for the last 10 to 15 years. And I decided that it was time that I did something for myself. Actually, when I was in government, I used to wear sari to work every day. And I couldn't necessarily find saris that suited my taste, and because of that it compelled me to sort of create my own pieces, and it soon became a hobby that I really enjoyed, and it was well received as well. And with some encouragement from my mother, I must say, I decided to turn this pastime into a small business.
All right. So according to research, Araliya, your brand is described as a celebration of women. Is there a particular reason why people describe this as this, and why Araliya is described as that?
Well, basically, when I say it is a celebration of women, I think that what I try to do with my brand, and I have tried to project that image through my photo shoots as well, it's basically to cater to any woman, to the everyday woman, basically to women like you and I. I did that even with my photo shoots. Actually, I didn't use the stereotypical models. I actually asked my friends to model for me because I wanted to make it relatable. A sari should be for someone who is of any shape, any size, any skin tone. They should feel confident in who they are when they wear one of my pieces, and I want to be able to give that confidence to my clients, as it did for me as well. So because of that, I basically believe it is a celebration of women, so that they are empowered to feel confident in who they are, in what they wear.
All right. So when you talk about a clothing line, most of us girls would prefer either tops or dresses or pants or something like that. Was there a specific reason that you wanted to go for saris? I know your inspiration comes from a background story, but then when it comes to business, did you think that this would have been successful?
Yes, I believe I did actually, because besides the fact that I am not actually coming from a business background, I'm a forward thinker in general. I'm also coming from operations. So when we take a proposal or a plan, everything is pre-planned, strategized, there's a risk analysis done, contingencies are put in place. So I analyzed everything, and I knew that this was something that I had knowledge on. It was something I was able to execute, and I was confident that I would be able to do it. And because of that, that was one of the reasons I decided to start with saris, besides the fact that it's something that I actually really love.
All right. So would you be able to explain a little bit about the production process when it comes to fashion designing and making your own clothes? you have to select your own fabric, you need seamstresses. So how do you work this out?
Yes, so most of the process is actually done by me, except for the sewing, which I have outsourced. I have a team of seamstresses who run their own small home-based businesses. All the materials that are required for the pieces are hand-picked by me. I source them locally from different parts of the country. I even not only big suppliers, but I also get supplies from micro enterprises as well. And every time I even travel around the country, I try to pick something so that I can incorporate that into my work. And then I conceptualize and create what I want, and the seamstresses, once they make it, I do the quality check as well. And everything is packaged and sent out by me with a little personal handwritten note from me.
That's something I like as well. When you said that you're sending out a little note, is there a specific reason for you to do this?
Yes, because actually one is, I know everyone does send a general thank you note, but actually I'm very grateful at the fact that people did believe in my work, and they have supported not only my brand, but they have supported my team, not only my team of seamstresses, but even the people who supply the materials to me. So I'm very grateful for that, and I make sure I express that. I want to have that personal touch with my clients. I think that's really important, because I focus, as one of my values as a brand is to focus more on quality over quantity.
Araliya, something that I picked up on was when you said you're selecting your fabric from different parts of the country locally. Is there a specific reason for you to do this, for you to not go international or import your fabrics?
Because actually, you know, if you take my personal life, I'm actually very passionate about the country and the people and everything I can do towards that. That was one of the main reasons I joined the public service. And I found a way that through my label that I could also empower our local communities. And while I also source products from Colombo as well, I thought, why not other parts of the country? They have beautiful things. They rarely get, I think, the opportunity to get that exposure. And whereas I have the opportunity to be able to do that, at least in a very small capacity. So that is my privilege and my honor to be able to do that, and I take pleasure in doing that. And I'd much rather, I think it's also sustainable. I think as a country now, economically, that is something that we are focusing on sustainability.
Yes. Another thing that you mentioned was your company is working with women for women. How has that been working out? You've been working with women so much and local women. Has it been great for you? What's your experience on this?
Yes, it's been working really well. I think my team of seamstresses have been very supportive. And it's really nice because they get really excited about what they're doing as well, because they are also small scale businesses. They are running their own home-based businesses. These are not big garment factories. So and they are quite, they get very excited when they see the end product. They like to see the photo shoots, and I really enjoy being able to do that with our women.
How did you start off retailing at the start? Did you start off initially from Colombo, or what's your reach?
So I initially started doing it on my own social media platform via Instagram and Facebook. And then two other retail outlets, they are the Design Collective store, and then subsequently Numa also. They asked to retail my brand, and now I've started retailing with them as well, while I also retail on my own social media platforms.
All right, Araliya, I think our audience, got a good idea about what your brand is all about and the work that you're producing. And if I'm not mistaken, you launched this brand in 2020.
Correct.
What was the response you received when you launched this?
Actually, the response I received was pretty great. I was very privileged to have that kind of response, and I was very excited actually because I'm so fresh into the industry. It did have its challenges though, because I did launch right in the middle of or the peak or the inception of the pandemic. But it was received well, and I was quite happy with that.
What were some of the challenges that you faced when you launched your brand?
One of the main challenges I faced, as I said, because I started at the inception of the pandemic, I'm producing occasion wear saris, and the lockdowns basically didn't have any enable us to have any events, and that was one of the biggest challenges. However, I must say that I did use it to my advantage because it was a learning curve for me. It enabled me to go at a much slower pace so that I could understand and navigate through the system. And it really, I mean, even and as a country, I think we adapted to the new normal pretty fast. And I was still able to carry on my operations subsequently through deliveries and through online video calling, and I could reach my seamstresses, and I still managed to get my work done, but at a much slower pace, which actually worked in my benefit.
What is the response you receive now compared to the start of 2020? What's the response now?
Actually, by God's grace, the response has been pretty good. I'm quite humble that within a short span of time, that through a pandemic, that I have been able to expand like this. I was also this year able to get my first international client. I was also able to have a bride. I am now retailing at 2 different outlets, and my latest collection, actually most of it sold out within the same month that I released it. So I can say that it's doing okay.
Great, that's amazing to hear. So with that, I will have to stop you there, and let's go into a short commercial break. You're watching Business Best. We'll be back soon. Welcome back to Business Best, and we are in discussion with Araliya Thevapalan, who is the founder of the brand Araliya. Araliya, I think in the first segment you gave a very good idea about what your brand is all about and the process that you're following to put out this product of yours. My next question for you is, the saris that you create, the products that you make are quite elegant and graceful. Is there a specific reason for you to go into this design? Because when you consider saris, they are very glamorous and usually worn for occasions only. Is there a specific reason for you to go into this type of style?
2 reasons. One main reason for that is my personal style is actually very simple, and that's how I like it. I think less is more. And I also think that another one of the reasons, as I told you, I like to empower my clients through my label. I think that I want them to wear one of my pieces and feel confident in who they are with what they wear. But it does not mean that they need to adorn themselves with a lot of, heavy work to make them feel better about themselves, because it's actually to make them feel better about themselves in whatever skin tone they have or shape or size. So I keep my designs very minimal for that reason, and also because my taste, I believe, is unique in that way. It's very simple, and I want my label to reflect my style.
What haven't you received any challenging comments from your clients or the people who buy from you regarding your style or the colors? If so, like, how did you overcome this?
Actually, I can't say challenging. I think it was a learning curve for me. Because, as I said, I wanted to do things that were according to my style and my taste. But then I do get different inquiries. Can't you do, darker colors? Why can't you do more work? But as I went, and I did actually try it out, but I realized that it doesn't bring that authenticity for me, because for me, when I see a product, I really need to like what I give my clients, because if I don't like it, then I don't think I have it in me to give it to somebody else. So I stuck to what I realized that worked for me, and that was my authentic style, and it seems to be working for me.
Now, Araliya, when we talk about designing of saris, you're not the only designer for saris. So, what do you think makes Araliya stand out from the rest of the other suppliers as well?
I think, well, naturally, it is one thing is my unique style. All my products are locally sourced. It's also produced locally. I also focus more on quality over quantity, and I think my saris are not just about fashion. It is also a projection of the values that I have as an individual, and I make sure I project that those values, or make sure they're emanating through my label in every possible way, whether it is through my photo shoots, whether it is what I produce, whether it's even the quality of the sari boxes. They're not just, you know, an average cardboard box or anything. I make sure everything, there's a lot of care that goes into everything, and I pay attention to detail myself. So everything that I want, because I was a consumer, I also understand everything. When you wear a sari, this fabric works, this fabric won't work, this will be too heavy, this will work. So I know exactly what works and what does not work, and what a consumer needs. So I cater to that, and that is what gives me a unique advantage.
Okay. Now, currently you're producing only saris. Are there any plans of expansion to moving out of this comfort zone and moving on to either tops or dresses or something of that sort?
Yes, actually I'm currently exploring that at the moment. One of the main reasons to push me out of my comfort zone were the many lockdowns and the actually the, you know, with everything with the pandemic. I anyway wanted to start with what I really loved, and I don't want to deviate from that very much. Everything I do, I want to make sure it's something that I really appreciate myself and that I'm confident in. So at the moment I am exploring at getting into other things. I am working on it, and hopefully within this year I will start retailing other types of clothing as well.
Is there a specific target audience that you're focusing on right now, or do you want to focus only on local clients, or do you plan on going international one day?
No, actually I definitely want to go to the international market. Actually it was one of my plans, one of my target markets from the inception, but unfortunately with the pandemic that was a little challenging and I was unable to do it from the beginning. But I have started doing it even at this scale, and I hope to expand on that in the future.
Araliya, I also wanted to ask you something personal. Now, you're a woman in business. Has it ever been challenging for you? Because there are stereotypes that women can't do business and it's difficult for them to handle their own thing. Have you ever had any challenges relating to that?
I mean, everything you do, I think, will have its challenges. I don't think it has anything essentially just because you're a woman. I think throughout my career and my lifetime, I have not stuck to those stereotypes. Fortunately, I must say I'm blessed with parents who didn't also force me to be like that. So, I mean, when I first graduated and came from university, I got into politics, and at that time when I was working for that certain politician, I was one of the very few girls on that team. It never really bothered me. So everything from my career to my personal life, I've been able to not really, I didn't get affected by these stereotypes. So as a business, yes, there are its challenges, but it's not something that I have let it affect me for very long.
I'm very happy to hear that
Thank you very
exact reason has not affected you, because I have been speaking to so many women out there, and one of the reasons that they say that they have stopped whatever they love to do or whatever they want to do is because simply because somebody would have told them that they
Yeah.
can't do it.
I think, if I may interrupt you, actually, Shanali, that is something that I have never allowed for myself. You know, I do not let people tell me what I can and cannot do. You know, I believe that I believe actually that God has uniquely created each and every one of us. So what is impossible for someone else may not necessarily be impossible for me. And I don't let anyone define who I am. I do, if I like something and if I believe in it and if I believe it is right and I know how to do it, I make sure I do it accordingly.
Thank you for that statement, Araliya. That is really inspirational. So,
Thank you.
unfortunately, we don't have much time for my final question.
Okay.
What is your final vision? Where do you see the brand Araliya in few years' time, or 5 to 10 years' time? And is there anything that you would like to say to the women out there watching this who wants to start something of their own?
Okay, so if I talk about my final vision, as I said, one thing is, yes, I definitely wanted to build something for myself, but really, you know, as I said, my passion is to serve my country and my people. If I can do that through my brand, not just empowering our local communities, empowering our women, I wanted to project a positive image and to be able to take Sri Lanka to the world. I want that to be able to do that through my label, even in a small capacity. You know, at the moment we are going through, we have, we have a little bit of turbulence in the country. But, you know, by God's grace, I have made it. So I'm still continuing to make it. I mean, of course, it's an ongoing process. You should just basically never give up. In life, we will always find obstacles and challenges. It's just about not letting that stop you. Stay focused, stay true to yourself, do everything with love, and the rest will fall into place.
And again, thank you, Araliya, for taking the time to
Thank
join
you so
me on the show, and it was nice having this chat with you as well.
Thank
And
you.
this was our program on Business Best. We will be back again next week with another product or service that will interest you. Just in case you couldn't watch this program on air, you can always rewatch on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Derana English. I'm Suzanne Shanali. Have a good night.